Chapter 23-27. She knew that Yi Li was born with good looks, but the way the emperor stared at Yi Li was a bit strange. Could it be that he had taken a fancy to Yi Li? Zhao Yuner couldn't help but imagine a romantic scene in her mind. This era didn't seem to be popular with men, but that didn't exclude the fact that people were gay. Especially those important people. Their interests and hobbies were hard to figure out. Perhaps it was because the emperor had a harem of 3,000 beauties. It seemed that there were too many women, so he didn't have much interest in Yi Li. The more Zhao Yuner thought about it, the more she felt that Yi Li was too dangerous. What if the emperor forced her to be with Yi Li? With the emperor's high status, who could refuse? Wouldn't Yi Li be ruined by the emperor? Sigh. Yi Li was a normal man. If he found out that another man had taken a fancy to her, would he feel a chill in his heart? Zhao Yuner was lost in her thoughts. It wasn't until Mu Lianfeng lightly coughed that Zhao Yuner came back to her senses. She realized that she had lost her composure because Yi Li and the emperor had been looking at each other for a while. The emperor smiled slightly. Zhao Yuner felt even more embarrassed. She quickly lowered her head and continued to roast the meat to ease the awkwardness. Soon, Zhao Yuner finished roasting the meat and handed it to the emperor to let him have a taste. After eating the tender and fragrant roast meat, the emperor narrowed his eyes and carefully savored the taste. He couldn't help but nod his head. Then he praised Zhao Yuner. "Miss Yuner, this meat tastes really good. What kind of meat is this?" "It's the 2 tigers that Yi Li killed. I was thinking of doing something new, so I roasted them to eat." After the emperor heard this, he was slightly surprised for a moment. Then a playful smile appeared on his face. It was actually tiger meat. He was curious why Yi Li was carrying the tigers, but it turned out that he was carrying them back to eat. And he just happened to freeload off the good food. It had to be said that this was the first time he had eaten such a novel way of roasting meat. It was probably because he had eaten too much of the food in the imperial palace. After tasting Zhao Yuner's roasted meat, he felt that it was different. Delicious, delicious. In less than a minute, the emperor had finished all the skewers in his hand, but he still seemed to want more. Zhao Yuner hurriedly took care of continuing to roast meat. She also took out the green plum wine at home to entertain the emperor. The group of people continued to chat and laugh around the bonfire. Unknowingly, the night deepened. After eating for a long time, they were finally full. Zhao Yuner counted for a bit. A total of 15 kilograms of roasted meat had actually been eaten. After dividing it up, everyone ate more than half a kilogram. Their appetite was really quite big. It was late at night when the whole family began to prepare to rest. The children were also tired from high. When the night fell, they immediately felt sleepy. Zhao Yuner first helped Dao to wash up, then prepared a room for the emperor to rest in. However, the conditions at home couldn't be compared to the imperial palace. No matter how well she prepared today, it was still too shabby for the emperor. For the time being, it was fine to make do for one night. The emperor also didn't pay much attention to this aspect. After the family finally rested, Zhao Yuner laid on the bed. Seeing Mu Lianfeng lying down, she quietly asked Mu Lianfeng about the purpose of the emperor's visit. Mu Lianfeng didn't hide it from Zhao Yuner and directly told her the reason. According to the emperor's intention, Mu Lianfeng would have to leave here in less than a month and rush to the frontier to complete his mission. Hearing that it would be a month, Zhao Yuner still felt that it was too fast. Chapter 23-28. Zhao Yuner had an indescribable feeling when she thought about how long it would take for Mu Lianfeng to return. Perhaps she was used to having Mu Lianfeng by her side during this period of time, so she was reluctant to part with him. But no matter how reluctant she would not stop Mu Lianfeng. She only hoped that he could complete the task assigned by the emperor and come back as soon as possible. Mu Lianfeng reached out and took Zhao Yuner into his arms. He said softly, "Yuner, I have good news to tell you." Zhao Yuner asked in confusion, "What good news?" "Yuner, how we can get married." Zhao Yuner was stunned. This matter was too sudden for her. During this period of time, she had never expected to marry Mu Lianfeng. Because of old Madame Mu's objection, Zhao Yuner did not want Mu Lianfeng to be in a difficult position. Moreover, whether they got married or not was not a very important matter to her. After all, she could still be with Mu Lianfeng every day and live like a married couple. She did not care about it, but she certainly hoped that she could marry Mu Lianfeng and have a more legitimate identity. Get married? And get married. Yuner, we can finally get married. Mu Lianfeng's eyes were like stars, shining brightly. What? Yuner, this time our marriage will be personally arranged by the emperor. You will be the most glorious bride to marry me. Zhao Yuner instantly understood that it was the emperor's role. Indeed, with the emperor. Even if old Madame Mu looked down on Zhao Yun'er's identity 10,000 times, she could not say anything. Old Madame Mu could use her life to threaten Mu Lianfeng, but she did not dare to hesitate in front of the emperor. Because her objection would not only implicate herself, but more importantly, it might implicate the entire Shitzi manor. Zhao Yun'er could not help but feel sad. Why did her marriage with Mu Lianfeng have to be completed with the help of others? Why were there so many obstacles when two people were in love with each other and got married together? Zhao Yun'er only hoped that nothing would go wrong this time. Sometimes, it would be easier to live a carefree life. If Mu Lianfeng did not care about old Madame Mu's life and death, he would not be afraid of old Madame Mu's threats. They would have gotten married long ago. The corner of Zhao Yun'er's mouth pulled out a smile, making her mood seem a little higher. And good. How about in a few days? Wouldn't it be too rushed? Zhao Yun'er shook her head. Mu Lianfeng would leave in less than a month. She couldn't wait for Mu Lianfeng to come back from the frontier fortress to get married. She nodded in agreement. Sure. Then Yun'er, let's go embroidery tomorrow. I want the best embroiderers in Yang City to make a wedding dress for you in a few days. Then we'll go to the best jewelry shop to buy some jewelry for you. When the time comes, you must be the most beautiful bride. Chapter 23-29. Because during this period of time, she had already gained experience in holding a wedding. As long as she had enough money on hand, she could quickly go to Yang City and buy the things she needed to do in the afternoon. Just as Mu Lianfeng had said, even if it was something that took a long time like a wedding dress, as long as she gave enough money and found a few embroiderers to make it overnight, she could still make a beautiful wedding dress. The two of them discussed for a while. It was already late at night and she was very tired today, so Zhao Yun'er quickly fell asleep. The next morning she had to make breakfast for the whole family when she woke up. Because of the emperor's arrival, Zhao Yun'er prepared a little more sumptuous food. She cooked several dishes and baked some pancakes. However, the emperor liked the salted vegetables and salted duck eggs from Zhao Yun'er's family the most. This kind of food was only eaten by ordinary people, so the emperor naturally had never tasted it before. It was because he had never tasted it that he found it novel and couldn't help but praise Zhao Yun'er. Seeing the emperor like this, Zhao Yun'er understood. She didn't need to prepare those exotic delicacies. In any case, the emperor was already tired of eating them in the palace, so why would he care? Instead, the emperor would like it if she prepared something that the emperor had never eaten before. After eating breakfast, Zhao Yun'er cut out 5 caddies of tiger meat for the several branches of old Zhao's family and prepared to send it over. Because Zhao Qianhu and Jianghu had separated from the main branch, they couldn't share their things with the main branch, so Zhao Yun'er specially sent the two of them another 5 caddies of tiger meat. Because she was busy making barbecue yesterday, she didn't have time. When it was time for old Zhao's family, the other branches were all present. They received the tiger meat from Zhao Yun'er and quickly thanked her. Tiger meat was a treasure, so many people couldn't eat it. It was thanks to Zhao Yun'er that they were able to taste such a rare thing. Zhao Wenxue wasn't home, so Zhao Yun'er placed the meat in Zhao Wenxue's kitchen. She informed Qian Zurio that she would inform Zhao Wenxue when Zhao Wenxue returned. By the way, fourth aunt, what did second uncle do? Zhao Yun'er asked curiously. It must be known that Zhao Wenshui's previous temperament was that he didn't go out. If he could be lazy at home, he would try his best to stay at home. Hearing that Zhao Wenshui was going out, Zhao Yun'er wondered if she should find a job to do. After all, Zhao Wenshui's personality had changed. He might know that he had to earn money to support his family, so he went out to earn some money. However, Zhao Wenshui was injured before. She didn't know if his injuries had healed or if he could continue to support himself. Earning money was important, but health was even more important. Chapter 23-36. Li Dalong glanced at Zhao Wenshui faintly and replied, "No need." It was his mother and sister's business if they wanted to talk to Zhao Wenshui, but he didn't want to care. Anyway, he didn't want to be nice to Zhao Wenshui anymore. Zhao Wenshui was still thick-skinned. He licked his lips and said, "Big brother, let me do it. I'm tired from chopping wood. I should do this kind of tiring work. You go rest." Li Dalong stopped what he was doing and frowned as he thought about it. Since someone wanted to suffer, he couldn't stop him. Thus, he threw the axe in his hand at Zhao Wenshui. "Then I'll let you do it." "Okay." Zhang Wenshui took the axe and began chopping wood. The wood didn't move at all when he swung the axe, unlike Li Dalong who could split the wood directly. Zhao Wenshui was a little embarrassed. Li Dalong glanced at Zhao Wenxue with some disdain, as if the words useless were written on his face. Zhao Wenxue smiled awkwardly and continued to swing the axe in his hand. This time he used all his strength and chopped the wood heavily. Fortunately, this time he finally made a hole. He continued to swing the axe and the wood finally split. After chopping only one piece of wood, Zhao Wenxue felt that he had used up most of his strength. He didn't have enough strength to continue chopping. Huff. Zhao Wenxue sighed heavily. He had no choice but to chop. No matter how tired he was, he could only grit his teeth and continue. Otherwise he would be despised by the Li family. Zhao Wenxue continued to chop wood with one breath. After a while his whole back was soaked with sweat. Li Dalong saw that Zhao Wenxue couldn't muster up any energy and felt even more disgusted. He was a man, but he couldn't even do this kind of work. Looking at Zhao Wenshue's posture, he knew that he used to be lazy at home and didn't do much work. Men who were used to working wouldn't be as weak as Zhao Wenxue after regular training. Fortunately, his little sister had divorced this man. Otherwise, who knew how much more she would have suffered. At this time Mrs. Li and Li Chuang, who were busy in the kitchen, saw the movement outside. Old Madame Li sighed in front of Li Chuang. "Daughter, look at this Zhao Wenxue. He actually took the initiative to help us. In the past, when he came over, he would cross his legs like a master. It seems that his temperament has really changed. It's not easy to learn from their mistakes. You have to give him a chance." Li Chuang knew that old Madame Li was speaking up for Zhao Wenxue. In fact, when she saw Zhao Wenxue taking the initiative to help chop the firewood and Ye's insistence, she was surprised for a moment. After all, she knew very well how lazy Zhao Wenxue was in old Zhao's house. Now that he took the initiative to help chop the firewood, it was really not easy. It showed that Zhao Wenxue really wanted to change and live a good life. "Let's wait and see," Li Chuang said. This showed that this woman had her own abilities. It was not easy to receive the emperor's praise. No matter how many opinions she had to trust the emperor's judgment. Therefore, old Madame Mu did not continue to object to Mu Lianfeng and Zhao Yun'er's marriage. Of course, more importantly, she did not dare to object. On the other hand, Zhao Yun'er brought the whole family to Yang City for a stroll. There were many people coming and going on the streets of Yang City. It was unusually lively. Zhao Wenhua, Liang Jinxiao, and Zhao Tianan often came to Yang City. They liked to see the lively streets. Chapter 2344. It seemed like she had made the right decision. She would definitely have a good life if she followed Zhao Ping. It was a blessing from the heavens that she was able to meet a good man after her divorce. She thought that she would be alone for the rest of her life. "Okay, we'll do as you say," Li Chuang replied shyly. After the matchmaker's matchmaking, Li Chuang and Zhao Ping were almost done with their discussion. When they were about to go back, they happened to bump into Zhao Yun'er and her family. Zhao Yun'er's family hadn't seen Li Chuang for a while. When they saw Li Chuang, they immediately greeted her. "Second aunt. Second sister-in-law." Seeing Zhao Yun'er's family, Li Chuang also had some experience and went over to greet Zhao Yun'er's family. "Third brother, third sister-in-law, why are you in Yang City?" "We're shopping. Yun'er will be getting married in a few days. We also have some custom-made clothes. We can't embarrass Yun'er on his wedding day." "Ah, I see. Then I really have to congratulate Yun'er. She's finally getting married to the heir apparent. She'll be the heir apparent's consort in the future. A golden phoenix has flown out of the mountains and made us proud." When they heard that Zhao Yun'er was getting married, Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua were happy for Zhao Yun'er from the bottom of their hearts. When Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua heard this, they smiled from ear to ear and looked very proud. Indeed, as Li Chuang said, Zhao Yun'er was not only getting married, but also becoming the heir apparent's consort. This was a great honor. How many girls in the countryside could do this? To old Zhao's family, this was naturally a great honor. "Second sister-in-law, it's been a while since you left old Zhao's house. How have you been?" Liang Jinxiao asked with concern. When Li Chuang had just returned to her parents' home, Liang Jinxiao had been worried about Li Chuang's situation. However, he didn't have the time to visit Li Chuang's parents' home to find out about Li Chuang's recent situation. Li Chuang smiled and replied, "It's pretty good. My mother, brother, and sister-in-law all treat me well. You were much better when you lived with old Zhao." Liang Jinxiao nodded. In that case he was relieved. Second sister-in-law, actually, second brother has changed a lot recently. He's different from before. They had become more diligent and were working in a down-to-earth manner. If second sister-in-law doesn't mind, you can consider second brother again. Xuanhuan couldn't help but put in a good word for Xuanhuan. Of course, this was his true opinion. Xuanhuan didn't seem to be pretending. If second sister-in-law could consider carefully and come back to live with second brother, the second branch's life would become better and better. Li Chuanying just nodded faintly and didn't seem to want to say anything more about this matter. Zhao Wenhua tactfully didn't say anything more. After all, Li Chuanying was now divorced from Zhao Wenshui. In addition, Zhao Wenshui had done so many wrong things in the past. He couldn't always persuade Li Chuanying to forgive Zhao Wenshui. By the way, second sister-in-law, why did you come to town today? Did you buy anything? Liang Jinxiao asked. Li Chuanying was a little embarrassed to say that she was here for a blind date with Zhao Ping. Some things were missed. If he had treasured it in the past, he would not have fallen out with her and would not have ended up like this. Father, don't think about it. Let's go. Zhao Wenhua hurriedly cast aside the anxiety in his heart. There was no use worrying about this matter. He was still happy. It was not easy for the family to come to Yang City, so they had to shop together. After a while, it will be Zhao Yun'er's wedding. Just thinking about it made him excited. It was great that the children in his family were all starting their own families. Since he was dealing with someone who was mentally ill, he naturally couldn't say anything more. Yi Li paused for a while and then continued to walk forward. Sissy was a little anxious. He quickly chased after Yi Li and shouted behind Yi Li, "Brother Immortal, why are you ignoring me? I have to thank you for saving me. You're so good-looking, you're so powerful. Brother Immortal, is this the path to heaven? Will I also go up into the sky with him?" I haven't been to heaven yet. I don't know what it's like. You don't have to follow me anymore. I'll take my leave now. After Yi Li finished speaking, he quickly turned around and prepared to leave. However, Sissy called out to him, "Hero, wait." Yi Li became even more impatient. What else? Chapter 2354. Anil also sensed Yi Li's displeasure and felt very uncomfortable. He hadn't done anything wrong, so why did Yi Li seem to hate him so much? Especially the cold aura emanating from Yi Li, which made him shiver uncontrollably. Yi Li frowned and walked towards Anil with a gloomy expression. Anil thought that Yi Li was going to hit him and chase him out of the courtyard. However, when he saw Yi Li standing in front of him, he stopped in his tracks. Because Yi Li was much taller than him, when they stood face to face, Yi Li looked even taller. Anil raised his head and looked at Yi Li. His heart couldn't stop thumping and he was extremely nervous. He quickly took a few deep breaths and tried his best to calm himself down. Standing so close to Yi Li, he could smell the faint scent of sweat on his body. Most importantly, he could see Yi Li's features at such a close distance. They were so beautiful that it was suffocating. Especially his eyes. They were like stars shining brightly. His eyelashes were very dark and long, like a pair of butterfly wings. They fluttered like butterfly wings when he blinked. Anil felt a strange feeling in his heart. The man in front of him was like a luminous object, emitting a mesmerizing glow. He couldn't help but be attracted to him. Yi Li looked down at Anil. Madame and clenched her fists and asked Yi Li nervously, What do you want?" Yi Li didn't answer immediately. Instead, he reached out and placed his hand on Anil's hand. Anil's heart skipped a beat. He wondered if Yi Li was going to do something to him. But it was broad daylight. It wouldn't be good if someone saw them. If Yi Li wanted to do something to him, he could have done it secretly at night. Anyway, he was staying here tonight. Just as Anil's imagination was running wild, Yi Li dug out the 2 gold ingots from Anil's hands. Yi Li was stunned. Reality seemed to be a little different from what he had imagined. Why did Yi Li only take the gold ingot in his hand? After Yi Li received the gold ingot, he said calmly, "Since you're staying overnight, you'll have to pay the lodging fee." Anil came back to his senses and smiled awkwardly. Of course. In any case, he didn't lack that bit of money. As long as Yi Li was happy, it was fine. Of course, the most important thing was that he could stay here overnight. If he could stay the night, he would be able to find out more about Yi Li's situation. Spending this small amount of money was definitely worth it. Yi Li smirked, then turned around and walked up to Zhao Yun'er. He stuffed the gold ingot he took from Anil into Zhao Yun'er's hands. "Yun'er, take it. We can't make a losing deal. Besides, he's the one who offered to pay this time. We can't possibly not take the money, right? Zhao Yuner smiled and looked at the 2 gold ingots in her hands. She thought that the lodging fee was really high. Even the most luxurious inn in Yang City wouldn't cost so much money for a night. Now that Zhao Tianan had Mu Hin, he liked Mu Hin. Of course, Liang Jinxiao was also very satisfied with Mu Hin. That's right. Since you don't have anywhere to go, why don't you stay at my house for a few days? You can leave when you've decided where you want to go or when you want to go home. Mu Hin had a soft personality. After hearing Annel's words, she also expressed sympathy, so she followed behind Liang Jinxiao and agreed. Annel was more than happy to receive an invitation from Zhao Yuner's family. She immediately nodded and said, Okay. The Shitzi Manor had arranged for a wedding nanny. Early in the morning, Zhao Yuner was dragged out of bed to dress up before she had slept enough. The wedding dress that she had ordered was also done. It was very beautiful. The pattern on it was embroidered with gold silk. One look and one could tell that it was very expensive. It was a pity that such an exquisite wedding dress could only be worn once. After all, a woman could only get married once in her life under normal circumstances. When she tried on the wedding dress after she got married, the whole family was stunned. A wedding dress that cost a lot of money was indeed different. Chapter 2361. Seeing Liang Jinxiao's reddened eyes, Qian Zhozha hurriedly comforted her. Feng Zhangxiao followed behind Qian Zhozha and echoed, That's right, third sister-in-law. Why are you crying? Ina is so lucky. She's going to marry the heir apparent today and become the heir apparent's consort. How many people can't wait for this to happen? If it were me, I would be grinning from ear to ear. Why would I cry? Feng Zhangxiao was extremely envious of Liang Jinxiao in her heart. If she could give birth to a girl like Zhao Yuner, she would probably wake up laughing in her dreams. If her daughter became the heir apparent's consort, wouldn't she be worry-free for the rest of her life and live a good life that everyone envied? Hearing Qian Zhozha and Feng Zhangxiao's words, Liang Jinxiao felt much better. That's right. She and Zhao Wenhua had long hoped that Yuner would marry the heir apparent and become the heir apparent's consort. They didn't want to live together without any status and be talked about by others. How could she be sad about the day that she had waited so long for? Liang Jinxiao hurriedly rubbed her eyes and wiped away her tears. A smile tugged at the corner of her mouth as she replied, That's right. It's Yuner's big day. I should be happy. Aha, third sister-in-law, that's right. After Zhao Yuner dressed up, the wedding nanny took out a red veil and placed it on Zhao Yuner's head. Zhao Yuner sat in front of the bed and quietly waited for Mu Lianfeng's arrival. The heir apparent's wedding procession would probably be very large and there would be many people. It would probably take some time, so Zhao Yuner wasn't in a hurry. At this time, many people had already arrived at Zhao Yuner's house. In addition to the people from the village who wanted to join in the fun and eat at the banquet, many people from the nearby villages who liked to watch the fun specially came to Shuilan village. Among them, many young girls wanted to see what the heir apparent looked like and how beautiful he was. For a moment, Zhao Yuner's small yard was crowded with people. Everyone was crowded together as if they were holding a large-scale event in the 21st century. Liang Jinxiao accompanied Zhao Yuner in the house, while the men of the Zhao family made some arrangements. Seeing that there was not enough manpower, Yi Li and Annel volunteered to help. During their time at Zhao Yuner's house, they already felt like family with Zhao Yuner. It's so lively today. Annel went up to Yi Li and giggled. Annel had never seen such excitement before, so he was very excited. This was the first time she saw villagers getting married. Especially when she saw so many villagers, she felt that it was unusually lively. Unlike in her house, there were rarely such lively events. Everyone gathered together and happily chatted and gossiped. This was something he didn't even dare to think about. His handsome face looked as if it had been carefully sculpted. His jade crown was tied up, and his sharp eyebrows added a bit of heroic spirit. Mu Lianfeng sat on the back of a horse, looking very noble. The young ladies who came to join in the fun and wanted to see the real face of the crown prince were deeply mesmerized by Mu Lianfeng's appearance. After seeing Mu Lianfeng's appearance, they knew what a handsome man was. Compared to the men in the mountains, Mu Lianfeng's appearance was not just a little bit better. There was no comparison at all. Chapter 2363. It was the same reaction as fans in the 21st century seeing their idols. Isn't the heir apparent a bit too handsome? He's really too good looking. Oh my god. He's so good looking. Not to mention that he has status and money, I'm willing to throw myself at him just based on his face. That's right, that's right. After seeing the heir apparent's true appearance, I realized that the men in the countryside are too different. I'm afraid that after seeing the heir apparent's appearance, I won't be interested in those sloppy men in the village anymore. How lucky is this Zhao Yun'er to be able to marry the heir apparent and have the heir apparent take her as his wife? Why didn't the heavens bestow me one? Her luck is 1 in a million. Ordinary people can't enjoy this kind of good fortune. We can only be envious. Let's not think about such a good thing. Not to mention being the heir apparent's wife or concubine, even being the heir apparent's maidservant would be my dream come true. A woman lowered her head and touched the tuft of hair in front of her chest as she spoke with a shy expression. Mu Lianfeng's astonishing appearance had captivated the hearts of many girls. Mu Lianfeng didn't notice the reactions of the people around him at all. He only hoped that he could quickly receive Zhao Yun'er and marry her back to the heir apparent's residence. Behind Mu Lianfeng was another man on horseback. This man was wearing bright yellow clothes. It was none other than the current emperor. It was rare for him to leave the palace for such a lively occasion. He was also interested in seeing the customs of the people in this kind of joyous occasion. He wanted to get closer to the common people and understand their lives more. In addition, he didn't have anything else to do, so he simply came to join in the fun to pass the time. It had to be said that he was right to come today. It was very lively along the way and the emperor was in a very good mood. Along the way he learned more about the local customs. Seeing that it was the first time he was so close to the people, he felt very gratified. The procession finally stopped in front of Zhao Yun'er's courtyard. Anil was also joining in the fun. He followed the crowd and watched the mighty procession. When he saw the bright yellow figure on the horse, his heart suddenly tightened. Damn. *CK. Anil's eyes widened in disbelief. He rubbed his eyes and continued reading. His heart thumped loudly as he muttered, "It's over. It's over." It really was him. The world was so big, but why did it feel so small sometimes? How could they bump into him here? Obviously, such a poor and remote place shouldn't have been discovered. Shocked, Anil quickly turned around and prepared to escape. *CK. This must not be discovered. If he was found out, then he would have to go home with his tail between his legs. He was having a good time here, so how could he bear to go back? Anil had just run a few steps when Zhao Wenhua called for Anil to come over and help. Anil frowned and said pitifully, "Uncle Zhao, my stomach hurts and I want to take a dump. Let's go to the latrine now." Zhao Wenhua nodded. "Alright, go ahead." Humans had 3 urges, so they couldn't be forced to hold it in. Anil nodded vigorously. He had only taken a few steps when Zhao Wenhua called out to him again. "Wait." Anil thought that there was something else, so he reluctantly turned around and asked with a smile, "Uncle Zhao, is there anything else?" Zhao Wenhua smiled foolishly. "Nothing else. I just wanted to say that you haven't taken your toilet paper. Do you want to take some?" Chapter 2364. Anil didn't expect Zhao Wenhua to talk about this. He thought that Zhao Wenhua was going to say something important. So he said to Zhao Wenhua, "No need, no need." Zhao Wenhua was stunned. His face was full of shock and confusion. "This, young master, and don't you use toilet paper when you clean your bowels?" Anil's face turned red in an instant. Woo-woo, it seemed that he was misunderstood. What should he do? If he didn't use toilet paper to clean his ass, he would probably be disliked, right? Well, not to mention others, if he met someone who didn't clean his ass when he was cleaning his bowels, he would probably also dislike him. That. Uncle Zhao, actually I still have toilet paper in my hand, so you don't need to use it anymore. Anil explained with a red face. Oh, so it's like that. Zhao Wenhua nodded. If that was the case, then it was understandable. At first, he thought that Anil really didn't clean his ass when he was cleaning his bowels. Like I said, no one would have such a fetish. Uncle Zhao, I'll go to the toilet first. Yes. Anil quickly flashed to the back of Zhao Yun'er's house. Fortunately, there were many people in Zhao Yun'er's courtyard today. Otherwise, he would have been discovered. In order to continue staying in Zhao Yun'er's house, he must hide his whereabouts well. It was much safer to hide behind Zhao Yun'er's house. The bustle in front of the courtyard continued. Mu Lianfeng and the emperor dismounted from their horses. Mu Lianfeng walked to Zhao Yun'er's courtyard with a face full of metal. At this time, the matchmaker said with a smile, "The groom is here to pick up the bride. The happy occasion has arrived. The bride is preparing to get married." After shouting, the matchmaker went to Zhao Yun'er, helped Zhao Yun'er up, and helped Zhao Yun'er out. The eyes of the people in the courtyard suddenly fell on Zhao Yun'er's body. The bright red wedding dress was very dazzling in the sun, especially the golden embroidery on it, which was even more dazzling. All the girls present praised Zhao Yun'er. Today's dress was so beautiful that it made people envious. After the matchmaker took Zhao Yun'er out, she handed her to Mu Lianfeng. She smiled at Mu Lianfeng and said, "The groom is finally here. Hurry and get on the sedan chair." "Good." Mu Lianfeng was full of smiles. His gaze landed on Zhao Yun'er and he couldn't bear to look away. Seeing Zhao Yun'er standing in front of him in a red wedding dress, his heart was filled with unspeakable joy. He had been waiting for this day and night, and finally this day had arrived. To protect his wife's Tuza's wife Tessa wife's to be, as to leave to protect him. At this moment he realized how happy he was to be able to marry the woman he loved. The matchmaker helped Zhao Yun'er onto the sedan chair and shouted to set off. Everything happened too fast for Zhao Yun'er's family. Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinqiao stood together. They were reluctant to let Zhao Yun'er leave, but they knew that they had to let Zhao Yun'er leave. Because Zhao Yun'er was going to marry Mu Lianfeng and become his Shizi's consort. From now on, no one would dare to mention Zhao Yun'er's pregnancy before marriage. No one would laugh at Zhao Yun'er and Mu Lianfeng being together, but Mu Lianfeng never gave her a status. The mighty wedding procession left after a few minutes. Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinqiao looked at the departing procession, and their eyes couldn't help but turn red. They were so happy that they cried tears of joy. They were happy for Zhao Yun'er. Finally, the day they had waited for had arrived. You're tuning in to the Sword Dance in the Vast Sky YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.